But just to make sure that you don't think all of us Yaleys are super nerdy, I'm going to talk about extracurriculars as well. Harrison was involved in the Yale Daily News as the associate managing editor. As I mentioned before, I was on the club frisbee team. I also did backpacking trips. I worked with a lot of the environmental groups on campus. So a lot of ways to get involved on campus. There's over 400 extracurricular activities to do. And a lot of times, Yale students will use these extracurriculars to augment their interests, to augment or to learn even more from their academic passions. Harrison, for example, wrote about Supreme Court cases for the Yale Daily News, was able to speak with Yale law professors, judges, clerks, to really verify that he was interested in pursuing law after college. And we also have the Yale Undergraduate Career Services, which is one of the best in the nation, ranked number 3 by Princeton Review for any college undergraduate career services network. And this network, or this office, allows you to, or rather helps you to find internships, employment opportunities, helps you with your med school applications, helps you with your law school applications, your business school applications, your graduate school applications, every kind of application. And so Harrison used UCS to find an internship in London, working with the Yale law firm and getting a stipend and a fellowship from Yale so that he could find housing and just really be able to explore London and do his work with the law firm. Again, verifying the fact that he wanted to go to law school. So that's a little bit about Harrison's story. But as you know, not all Yale students are Harrison. We're all a little bit different. I'm a little bit different. And so the next person I want to talk about is another one of my classmates, Tamika Bethel, who actually is from Chicago. And is, she's here tonight, so you guys can meet her in the flesh, which is even more exciting. And she had, an equally amazing time at Yale, using the resources that Yale had to offer her, and really exploring her pathways through the institution for 4 years. So Tamika grew up in one of the housing projects in Chicago and realized that she always wanted to give back to her community. And she knew after she graduated she was going to, still give back to her community, but she thought she had to be a doctor or a lawyer. But coming to Yale, liberal arts institution, she realized that she didn't have to become a doctor or a lawyer. There were other ways for her to engage with her community. And the person who really helped her realize this was Dean George, the Dean of the Afro-American Cultural Center at Yale. He said, Tamika, this is a liberal arts place. Make sure that you're really exploring and getting to dive into your passions. And her passion was sociology. And that's how we know each other. So she was able to use the classes and experiences from sociology to be able to really grapple with questions about community uplift, about social inequalities, and develop a really sharp tongue and a sharp pen and a sharp mind to really engage the community and politicians around these issues. She decided to join the Blacks in the Lives at Yale and ended up being president of BSEG, which allowed her to again engage with the communities at Yale, the communities in New Haven. BSEG does a lot of community service in the New Haven area. And also she took the advantage of Yale's financial resources to go abroad. Every year we give over $6 million of fellowships and grants to students to go abroad. Like Ground and Financial Aid travels with you. We also have an International Summer Awards grant, which is given to students so that they can go abroad during the summertime as well. She went to Kenya and came back to campus, and the admissions office asked her to be an ambassador for Chicago Public Schools for Yale. So to sort of spread the word and her experience about being at Yale. Chicago Tribune heard about this position that she had and read an article on her, which Ron Emanuel, city mayor of Chicago, read, and then asked Tamika to also be an ambassador for his mayoral office to the Chicago Public Schools. So from her experience at Yale, from these connections that she made, from her mentorship with Dean George, was able to really realize the different routes and different ways that she can engage and still stay connected with her community, still give back to her community. Once we graduated, Tamika came back to Chicago with Teach for America, and now she's still working as a teacher at Learn Charter Schools, teaching first and second graders, and still engaging with her community by doing speakerships around